Bro, I'm not going to sleep until this is recorded.
Sorry, bro. Hey everyone, it's what am I doing? What am I doing? Hey everyone, it's Medits.
Just kill yourself, bro.
Hey everyone, welcome to Medits Talk F1. You're here today with Pramath.
And my name's Amin, and we're two medical students who love F1, and we want to talk about our opinions, talk about our controversial takes on a weekly basis, hopefully. And yeah, excited to get the show on the road, and let's do it.
So we're gonna first talk about how we found the race itself. So Amin, how do you find the Austria GP?
Yeah, so we actually watched this together. It was quite the first time we'd done that. And it was exciting at the start. It was great. A lot of drama where Sainz pulled off a Sunny Haze, and then you had him basically his car blowing up. So I thought we were in for a banger. And then there was the battle, which we'll get into afterwards. And yeah, it started off really good, and then it just went to the management phase, and then it just became like any other race this season. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, to be honest. I think first couple of laps were pretty good, especially when Oscar Piastri was very within the second gap for the majority of the race at the beginning. And we thought here and there could be an overtake. A lot of the people watching with us were getting excited, but unfortunately there was an overtake during the race. It was exciting towards the end as well, but the same thing, middle of the race just got a bit boring. But overall, it wasn't
Was it entertaining at the end? I disagree with that, honestly.
really.
Yeah, because all right, tell me what was entertaining about the end?
I think there was that 1 second gap between Oscar and Lando.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of traffic between them, but I felt like that chasing, and he did say that I felt like if there was another good 5 or 10 laps, I mean, 10 is a bit of a reach, but another 5 laps, I think Oscar could have had that chance to overtake Lando.
I mean
And
Oscar.
furthermore,
Yeah, Oscar's the
I
better
think,
driver, but yeah, we'll get into
oh, is it? Yeah, okay.
that.
No, he is probably the better driver this year.
Yeah,
But I feel like also Bortoleto against Alonso, we'll talk about that later, but that was quite exciting towards the end. And I mean, it didn't live up to the hype at the beginning, but I felt like it was somewhat entertaining to watch at the end.
yeah, and I think it probably inflated by the fact we watched it together.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
that added excitement. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into most memorable moment. PK, what was your most memorable moment?
I did foreshadow it previously, but I think my most memorable moment was Gabriel Bortoleto and Fernando Alonso, the chase between them. I think Bortoleto, rookie this year with a lot of potential. He's an F2 winner as well, previously racing for Invicta Racing. Coming to F1, being in Sauber, and having that chance to go against his mentor, Fernando Alonso. And he was quite close here and there. He had the opportunities to overtake, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the overtake. Post-race as well, Alonso was cheering him up a little bit as well. But I felt like that race between them, Alonso and Bortoleto, I think that was quite entertaining to watch, to be honest. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's just good racecraft. It wasn't what we wanted that at the top of the grid, but we got it from Gavi and Fernando, and just great racing. And Fernando in his older tires, he had much older tires, and he still made it. He's just showed everyone why he's the boss. But Gabi still had such a good weekend. First points of the season. Wally was so good. Just a very, very good race from Gabi. He was my driver of the day. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was Hulk. It was Hulk. Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But yeah, just I agree with you. That was a very memorable moment.
And for you and me, what was your most memorable moment for this race?
As a Max Verstappen fan, the most memorable moment here was at the very start of the race. You know, to be fair, okay, I got a few. It was unfortunate that it happened, and I think this might be the end of Max's title charge for this year. I think it very well might be the end. And but a few things to take from this. I think first of all, you saw Max being a lot more mature. I think it was a combination of him knowing that he wasn't really in a title fight, and also the fact that it was Kimi, so he knew he has an affinity for rookies. It seems like so he was kinder to Kimi. I think that's an important thing, and also yeah, it was just kind of deflating to see that happen. But we'll get them next time. Max is the best driver on the grid, and yeah, it was just a bit disappointing at his home crowd, and I just had high hopes. But yeah, it was a good weekend for this to happen because he qualified seventh. So the amount of points he would have lost really isn't the craziest amount. And yeah, it opened the doors for people like Gabby to get into the top 10. So it was disheartening, but at the end of the day, probably if it was going to happen any time this season, this is probably the best time for it to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Max was very mature after the incident as well. Um, yeah, you could say that because Kimi was a rookie, but maybe he's being mature to his future teammate, possibly. The rumors are there, but we'll see what pans out in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite unfortunate for Max. I think that definitely sealed the fact that he's probably not going to get the championship this year. And the championship fight is probably going to most likely be between Lando and Oscar now.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's move on to our winners and losers. So, who was your winners from?
I think there are a lot of winners in this race and a lot of losers as well, likewise. My biggest win in this race, I think, has to be Ferrari, to be honest.
Okay.
It's quite a controversial one, but I think that a good P3, P4 finish for them is, although Charles qualified P2 and he dropped the position from Oscar, he didn't drop the position any further. So I think P3 is still a good amount of points scored for the team as well. And that being said, they've able to manage to overtake Mercedes as well in the constructors. So they're currently P2, I believe. And with that, that's yeah, good funding for the team. Good cash prize as well. And yeah, they have a lot to learn about this race. If they keep this consistency for Silverstone as well, we could potentially see Lewis Hamilton win his home Grand
Yeah.
Prix in a
Yeah, let's
Ferrari
not
as
get ahead
well.
of ourselves, mate. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I mean, I do believe in the fact that one good race weekend for Ferrari means possibly a double DNF in the next one.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think they've used up all their luck for Austria. And I mean, who knows? Like, it could be a Lewis Hamilton win in Silverstone, then the one after that could be a double DNF for Ferrari. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Ferrari big winner. Well, is as it's good that they're now P3, but I don't think that's fully on merit. I think you had Max out that opened the door for them a bit. Mercedes was on the border of blowing up the whole weekend because of the heat, so that
yeah,
probably didn't help. So I think this weekend inflated their success, but also you can see both drivers looking a bit more comfortable. So overall, they had a big floor upgrade as well this week. So maybe it was a good one. Yeah, cool. And what about your loser?
I'm gonna have to say Williams. To be honest, I think a double DNF from them. As we mentioned, Carlos Sainz is not Sony Hayes. I don't know what he's doing. Um, but yeah, it's quite unfortunate that his I think brakes came on fire, I believe, and then Alex Albon had to retire the car. It hasn't been a good few races for Williams. They are at the top of the midfield, Um, but to get into that top field, they're gonna have to be getting those upgrades in, especially for Silverstone. That's a home Grand Prix for the Williams team as well. So hopefully they get good upgrades for the next race. But it's quite disappointing to see a double DNF basically.
Yeah. I think they're just. I don't think. I don't think there's much upgrades coming. I think they had a scheduled one for around this time. I think before the summer break, but they did say they've officially stopped development on this car. So I think now they're just gonna. Although it would be nice to upgrade, I think they've got their aim correct. Do you know what I mean? Like they could give it all to this season and then be a backmarker again for the next regulation cycle, or they could, like they're doing right now, learn as much as they can and then prioritize next year. Let's hope they're a bit. The Mercedes power units having like a lot of reliability issues, haven't they? Because you had Monaco with the works team, and then also your who is it? Obviously Williams, but also was there any other customer teams? McLaren hasn't had anything yet.
No, I think not from the top of my head, I'm afraid, but a lot of teams are relying on that Mercedes power unit. So
Yeah,
um
let's
I
hope it's
mean
not.
yeah, but I think yeah, they are focusing on next year, right? So hopefully we could see some good action from William in the 2026 season. And like you said, all they can really do now is just learn from their current performance. What about you though? I mean, what do you think are your biggest winners?
Okay, so biggest winner. I'm not even going to pretend like I don't have this written down. So my biggest winner here is Lando Norris. You know, as a number one Lando not hater, but like skeptic. Uh, I was on the hype train for him, like being washed. What is he doing? He doesn't know how to drive. But I can't fault him this weekend. He put it on pole. He handled so much pressure. The safety car restart was perfect. He did everything correctly, and I think this is exactly what he needed. He needed exactly this type of weekend to get back on track. And now he's got his home weekend with a massive. I think he's got a grandstand dedicated to him, and they even like on the corner of that grandstand they're changing it to his colors, the curb. So it's going to be like Lando Norris fluorescent yellow on the corner. I think this is all about he's very susceptible to confidence. The fact that he had a good weekend and now he's going into his home GP. Hopefully he gets a better run. I'm a hater, but I'm not praying on anyone's downfall. So for my also as a side note, honorable mention as a winner is Gabriel Bortoleto. We touched on that a while ago. Good quality. He's showing the world what he's got, and hopefully he gets a better seat in the future. And my loser is, well, two people, but mainly Yuki Tsunoda. Um, I love Yuki. Uh, and just it's just horrible to see him struggling for pace. He doesn't understand the car. It's very clearly the car now. I don't
Yeah,
think Red Bull can ever say to anyone that is the driver, because we all know how good Yuki is. And now you see him P16, 10-second penalty, lap twice. It's not looking good.
I think yeah, that penalty was quite unfortunate. I mean, he did manage to get the overtake.
Unfortunate. I think it was stupid. I think it was very stupid that he put himself in that position.
I mean, an overtake is an overtake. He got past, but then ended up getting a penalty at up down position anyways.
And
But
being overtaken again. He lost the
oh yeah,
position and he got a penalty.
I mean, it's just not a good weekend for Yuki Tsunoda. Even highlighting on your winner as well for Lando Norris, I think that he's managed to um keep that confidence. I think throughout the whole weekend. So FP1, he gave the car to Alexander Dunn, but after that, he was top in both qualifying FP2, FP3, and Lando has that previous history of bottling first corner, but he managed to keep his car up into P1. So I think that's something that he should be proud of and hopefully keep when going over to Silverstone.
Like I said, we don't pray for people's downfall, but we can hate on them.
Yeah,
Uh, okay. I did say I had two losers, and just briefly, Franco Colapinto, I think, having a tough time. There's a lot of pressure on his back with Alpine being the train wreck that is, and like constantly having the pressure of nearly getting kicked out all the time. But look, he's just doing his best. He's got a rubbish car as well. I think we can say that the Alpine is the slowest car, right?
I think, yeah, I feel like Pierre Gasly is showing his performance though in the Alpine, even though it isn't the best in the grid, but he's still keeping the car somewhat at a competitive level. But then again, you have Franco Colapinto that doesn't have that necessarily that F1 experience. He has some races with the Williams, but I don't think it is the car and it is his lack of experience, I believe, that
Yeah.
isn't making his car as competitive as Pierre Gasly's.
Okay. Let's move on to the next section, which is underrated driver. Okay, PK, who was your underrated driver of the day, of the weekend?
To be honest with you, I think there were quite a lot of underrated drivers throughout this whole weekend.
Okay.
A lot of DNFs allowed for a lot of these midfield teams to come up and get those points. But my underrated driver altogether, I think, has to be Liam Lawson, to be honest with you.
Okay. Is he underrated though? He got a lot of hype.
He got a lot of hype, I think, prior to getting kicked out of Red Bull. I think kicked out was a strong word to be fair, but I think before he lost that seat after getting, I think, P20 twice in a row, I think a lot of people have felt bad for him now. Now he's in that V Cup and he managed to out-qualify Max as well in qualifying as well. Even though it was a bit of a, there was that yellow flag that came up and then a lot of people abandoned their lap. He still managed to out-qualify Max in the V Cup. And yeah, still managed to put a decent performance in, scored a good amount of points as well. A lot more than his teammates, I believe. And I think that his future is looking a lot more brighter now ever since he's left that Red Bull seat. I believe that me personally, I think Liam Lawson is the underrated driver for this race. What about you though? What are you thinking?
Yeah, he did well. I would say, let's say it. I'm just thinking like the definition of underrated would mean that he's not getting enough hype for what he did. But we'll let it slide. I'm feeling
Yes,
generous today. Yeah, such a good drive from him. I'm very happy to see him. Like, he looks happier in that V Carb seat. I think
yeah,
the V Carb team is like very wholesome. They build people up, like as opposed to Red Bull Racing. And yeah, he just looks way happier. He looks way more comfortable. He looks like he can be himself more with all the social media stuff compared to Red Bull. He looks like it's less of a serious atmosphere. So he's doing good, man. Yeah, I always I thought there was something in him, and my hopes went down when I saw him in Red Bull. But I'm getting confidence back in him now. Yeah,
yeah, 100%. I think even that seat was probably
yeah, that seat
it
is
might have looked
cursed.
like a negative for him, but I think he's found a positive within that.
Yeah,
Uh, and those TikToks he makes with Isaac as well. Uh,
it's so funny.
so, but
Yeah,
yeah, what's your underage driver for this weekend?
I think it's Nico Hulkenberg because I was trying to while you were talking, I was trying to get exactly what position he qualified, but I was trying to be sneaky about it, but I realized I just gave up on it. He qualified very low. He was out in Q1. I think was it P60? No,
He qualified P19 because Carlos was P20,
oh
right?
right, yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
So P19, and he made it to P9 at the end of the race. So there were a lot of things that happened. 4 people went out, but still, he made 5 positions. And, he made a mistake. I was reading, he made a silly mistake, by his own words, into turn 4 in qualifying, which made him go down a few tenths. And it's
Oh, right.
such a close qualifying, actually. We didn't touch on that. But yeah, anyway, we'll get onto that. So from P19 to 9, kept it on the road, avoided all the chaos at the start of the race. His strategy was fine. He just drove a good race. He was quiet, but he got the points. He's just been a good teammate. I mean, you can definitely see why he's a midfield driver in that he's a consistent person, but I don't see the spark that I do in someone like Kimi, for example. Even though there's a lot of issues with that, but with that whole story. But for the midfield driver that he is, consistent, he's just doing good. He's having such a good season, and you can see that Sauber team really coming into its own, like ahead of its Audi rebrand. So that's great to see.
Yeah, I
And yeah,
think literally he's probably one of, if not the most underrated driver on the grid. Especially that performance. I think he was overshadowed by Gabriel Bortoletto's first points finish in F1, but I think his teammate Nico Hulkenberg did manage to get a good amount of points for Sauber, and hopefully he manages to achieve that podium he's been waiting for in the Audi next year, perhaps.
hopefully.
It will be so
There's
sick.
talks of like rumors of him maybe going to Red Bull
No way.
as a teammate to Max, because their driving styles are apparently very similar.
That would be
Yeah,
sick, you know.
it
But
would.
is Max even going to be there next, like,
Yeah,
by the
we'll
end of
get into
this
that.
year?
Stay
Yeah,
tuned for our British Grand Prix videos. We'll talk about that. Um, Before we end the video, I think all the topics we talked about, we forgot to talk about the McLaren fight. What are your thoughts on that McLaren fight?
I think it's good to have a bit of competition between teammates. And to be fair, they did keep it clean. I think that's good amount of points for McLaren in general.
Yeah,
I know Zach Brown was definitely panicking watching the race back at home. Um, but I think at the end of the day, for McLaren, they were able to get a good amount of points, made it entertaining for us to watch as well. Um, but I think in the future, perhaps it will definitely look quite close between both the teammates. I think
yeah,
Oscar Piastri has that mindset to keep going.
yeah.
Uh, and Lando has found his new height, if that makes sense. He knows what to
Let's
do.
hope
He
it
knows how
lasts.
to. What are you saying?
Let's hope it
So,
lasts, because he came in with that confidence at the start of the season, and then he had the wobbles, and then he went into a slump.
that is
But this is
true.
a good step. This is a good step to get him back.
I think,
Uh,
yeah, especially being top of the charts for all the sessions.
yeah,
Um, but you're right. Nothing can ever last forever. So if he keeps it for the rest of the season, perhaps we could see Lando Norris winning the championship. But your thoughts on the McLaren fight, though? What are you saying about it?
uh, McLaren fight. So very entertaining to watch. Uh, I think we saw a different side of Oscar this week because you saw him crashing out in qualifying, which you don't really see. He had that funny radio of him talking about Alpine. Uh, yeah, we saw a different side to him, and you saw him making mistakes, which you don't really see. So I think we're seeing a more human side to Oscar, and we're seeing maybe a bit of he knows that he could actually win a championship. So you saw a bit of desperation in some of the moves, a bit of frustration. Um, but yeah, great fight. I think they got a bit too close when McLaren sent that warning radio telling Oscar he got it was a bit too close for their liking, and that maybe I think that was exacerbated by what happened in Canada. I think they're a bit more on edge now after what Lando did. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I think I think consistency. I think Oscar will have the edge for the season. It's a bit early to say, but this half of the season, you can say that he's comprehensively had the edge. Bar a few, I think Australia, Lando had a lot of momentum, and Monaco, obviously, he was very good. But we'll just see. I think it will just come down to consistency at the end of the day. That's what this championship is going to be about.
I think, yeah. I mean, it was quite unfortunate for Orlando to crash at Canada.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunate,
it's, yeah,
stupid.
that's a lot of point.
Okay.
What you said?
You said unfortunate. It was a bit. It
Oh,
was
you're
very
the gas
stupid.
guy.
It wasn't unfortunate. It was stupid. But yeah, what were you saying?
He probably saw a gap that we didn't see on screen. But
I
don't know
don't think
what it is.
anyone on this world saw.
No, he's seeing something that we're not seeing. But I think it was a waste of points for the constructors as well. But
Yeah.
I don't think they really need it at this point.
Yeah.
They're all guaranteed
Yeah.
constructors, to be honest. But yeah, as long as they keep it clean throughout the rest of the season, we could see definitely a good championship battle between Lando and Oscar.
Yeah, I agree with you. So yeah, I think we've gone through all our talking points. I think we'll call this a wrap for our first podcast. It was quite the experience setting everything up. Please let us know if there's anyone watching. And please let us know if there's anything we can improve on. We're going to edit this and try to get it out before the British GP, and then hopefully do this again for that one. Yeah, I really enjoyed making this, and let's see where it goes. What are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, so if you enjoy this type of content and you have any other feedback for us, just let us know in the comments down below. Hopefully there's quite a few of you guys watching. And we're trying to set up our TikTok and Instagram pages as well. So you could see some clips, some medic-related things as well. Yeah, somewhere up here with the editing. And then, yeah, just make sure you have, you're subscribed to the channel, post notifications on, like the video, and yeah, follow us on our TikTok and Instagram.
And enjoy the bloopers. We'll try to put them at the end of this. Yeah. So without further ado,
it's just more clips of the bloopers, man. This car.
Okay.
Hey everyone, it's Medics Talks F1 here today. With What did I do? Our very first podcast channel here on the YouTube channel. You're watching the what? I say it. I'm just tweaking.
You just said the very first YouTube channel on our YouTube channel.